Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us today for our How to Sell Warehouse Labels webinar. My name is Nick Fassel, and I am the Director of DLSwarehouse. Joining me today are members of our marketing team who will be fielding any questions that you may have throughout the presentation. So if there are any questions, please drop them in the chat, and we will address those as we go through the presentation. First off, I'd like to give you a brief overview of Diversified Labeling Solutions. Our company was established in 1985, and we have grown tremendously in that time, with our annual revenue currently over $85 million. We offer nationwide distribution with production facilities in 4 states, Illinois, Georgia, Texas, and Nevada, with an additional distribution facility in California. We have over 50 presses with laser and semi-rotary die cutters and over 300,000 square feet of production space. We operate through our network of distributors and value-added resellers, and we look at all of you as partners and not competitors. In today's presentation, we're going to talk about the how and why to sell warehouse labels. We will go over several different types of label and sign products that we offer. And we'll also talk about our label and sign installation services. Also, we're going to go over a number of different ways that we can support you and your business throughout this process. So let's talk about the value to you. Warehouse sales offer a significant sales opportunity for both product and installation. With the continued growth of e-commerce and companies moving more domestic production to avoid supply chain issues, new warehouse construction is growing explosively, and with it the need for labels and signs for those warehouses. Warehouse labels can also increase the value add you bring to your customers. And for existing customers, this is a great opportunity to expand the solutions you can offer them. So let's begin by reviewing a couple of the different product categories that we offer. First off is going to be your basic rack labels. These are typically adhesive or magnetic back labels that go straight on your crossbeams. They're usually made using a film material with a laminate. Rack labels can be produced on paper, but because these are meant to be a permanent fixture on the racks, we almost never use the paper because we want the durability that film material provides. For labels that are going to be scanned up close and for lower level racks, mostly we're going to produce those on a white poly material. For upper level and long range scanning, we recommend using a retroreflective material to provide that longer scan distance. The retroreflective is a slightly higher cost than the standard poly material, but it is important to make sure that your customers are able to read those barcodes at long distance using their scanners. If the retroreflective labels and long-range scanners are not in your customer's budget, another solution for tagging those upper racks would be to use totem labels. A totem is a vertical or horizontal label that represents multiple levels within a rack bay. Like the rack labels, these are typically produced either with either an adhesive or a magnetic backing, and we can often use PVC backers as well. Totems allow your customers to pick from their upper racks and be able to scan the location from the ground level only a few feet away. Between the retroreflective labels or totems for the upper levels, I recommend going with the retro labels because there's a less chance for misscan on individual labels compared to totems where you have multiple barcodes together. The idea behind barcoding a warehouse is to make sure that warehouse workers can pick quicker, more efficient, accurately, and accuracy is the most important part of that. And you want to avoid misscans. Another great product that we have is our Clean Beam and Clean Bin solutions. We've all been to warehouses and seen racks that look like the before picture there, where adhesive residue and old labels are covering the racks. Clean Beam is a great way to give the warehouse a clean new look by covering up those dirty beams. We produce the Clean Beam on a metallized bop, so it has an opaque adhesive that covers up all the old junk on their racks. And if your customer gives us the Pantone or PMS colors of their beam, we can flood coat the Clean Beam so that it matches their racks and they blend in seamlessly and look visible once applied. Finally, we put an easy release laminated over the top of the Clean Beam label so that you can take a permanent adhesive barcode, apply it over the face of the Clean Beam, and have a nice future-proof solution where you won't need to peel or scrape adhesive or damaged labels should that label need to be replaced. Clean Bin is another product similar to the Clean Beam, but this is designed more for tote applications. In pick and fulfillment totes, we've all seen bins that have a number of old order labels applied to them, getting stacked on top of each other. With the clean bin, you're able to apply a pick label onto your bins, and after the bin has made its way through the fulfillment process, you're able to easily remove that order label and apply a new one for the next job. Now we're going to look at a quick video showing the clean beam in action. Great. Now we're going to take a look at a couple of our different sign offerings that we have. Aisle signs are an important part of any warehouse. These are typically going to be bolted or adhered to the racks or walls and can also be hung from the ceiling joists as well. These are going to be used for visual references to help warehouse workers locate themselves in the facility and are not often barcoded as locations. Dock door signs are another very important piece. These are going to be large numeric signs that easily help dock workers identify the correct bays to pull into. These may have retroreflective barcode labels for scanning inside your inbound lanes or outbound lanes, and oftentimes we will use a PVC material for these indoor jobs. For large outdoor signs, we recommend using a white aluminum sign, and these can also be reflective, which is a great feature for deliveries at night, which helps drivers identify the correct bays. Hanging placards are another very important part of warehouse signage. These are going to be used for your bulk locations, staging lanes, any place on the warehouse floor where product's going to be stored that needs to be identified. These are going to be PVC signs, and we have a number of different shapes and sizes, our most common being the 45-degree hanging placard. We also have wall signs, double-sided signs, and even four-sided signs as well. We recommend using a retroreflective label for these since they're typically going to be hung from the ceiling above product, and you want to make sure you get that long-range scanning. Another great product that we have is our Label Armor floor label protectors. These are a great solution when your customer needs to identify storage locations on their floor but is unable to hang signs from the ceiling. The Label Armor floor protectors are impact resistant, textured, and anti-slip, and they have a clear window through the middle that allows the label to be easily scanned. We do produce the Label Armor in two different sizes, both a half letter size and a full letter size, though custom sizes and colors are available. We also offer another number of different installation products to help make sure that the Label Armor is laid down completely and ensure the lifespan of the product. Next, we're going to look at a quick video of the Label Armor in action to give you an idea of how it works. Next, we're going to look at our warehouse labeling survey. This is a great tool to use during your discussions with your customer as you're trying to determine the right label and sign solution for them. When we quote label products for you, the most important piece of information that we need are the dimensions, material, and quantity. But there are a lot of other important pieces of information to consider. For instance, cold storage facilities has been a big growth area in the warehouse industry, and when labeling racks in a freezer, we need to know the temperature of that facility so we can select the right adhesive to use on those labels. The survey also has several different pictures of several different styles of signs that you can easily reference in your discussions with your customers. For bigger projects, there might not be enough space to fill out all of the information for the different label and sign options your customer may need. So the way I recommend using this survey is as a tool to lead the discussion with your customer. And then when you reach out for us to prepare your quote, I would recommend putting all of your notes from that conversation with your customer in an email to our estimating team with as much detail as you can provide to make sure that we get you an accurate quote for the right product to meet your customer's needs. And at this point, I'm going to pause here for a moment and answer some of the questions that we've received in the chat.
Okay. We have one, do the primer and edge sealer chemicals come with the barcode armor labels, or is that only part of installation?
The question we had was about the primer and sealer for the label armor, and if those come with the label armor kits or if that's only a part of installation. We can sell the primer, the edge fix, and the surface cleaners separately. Those do not require our installation. And we also have a nice handy guide that details the different steps. So if you or your customer wants to tackle the installation yourself, you're absolutely capable of doing that. We will walk you through the process and make sure that they're comfortable doing it. Provide everything that you need. Let's take another question.
Okay. How far can you scan with the retroreflective material?
All right, the next question we have is how far can you scan with the retroreflective material? And this is a great question that we run into a lot. And it's not a very easy one to answer. There's a lot of different factors that are going to come into play here. One such factor is going to be the size of the barcode, that mill size, and how big the bars actual are. Things to consider with that are going to be the dimensions of the label, but then also the content of the barcode, how many characters they're going to have. Other things that factor into the actual scan distance are going to be the types of scanners that they're using, their symbology, and even the lighting in the facility can all dictate how far a barcode will be able to scan from. As a good reference, I usually say anything above 20 to 25 feet, it's worth considering going with a retroreflective label for that. But if you do have questions, we can work with you and mock up different options. You can provide us some of your customers' data, the size label they're thinking of, and we can put together a quick proof and let you know what size barcode that'll do and how far we think that'll be able to scan. Great question. Next question we had was, do we carry retroreflective material on hand? Yes, we do. We do stock that. That is one of our most common materials for warehouse labeling, so that is a product that we regularly carry.
Okay. Do you offer any type of tote labels similar to bin labels?
Next question we had was, do we offer any type of tote labels similar to bin labels? Yes, we do. We do offer several different types of materials that are used for the bin labels. We can pre-print those for you, sequential barcodes, variable print barcodes, and can even provide blank labels should your customer want to print them themselves. And the tote labels along with the clean bin labels for those totes, it's a great combination sale there.
Okay, may we get a separate label armor video without the DLS logo?
Next question we had was, can we get a separate label armor video without the DLS logo? Yes, absolutely, and this is something I'll touch on a little bit later in the webinar. We have a great marketing team that can rebrand all of the marketing material we use to match your company's profile, use their logo, and add your contact information. So absolutely, we can produce custom videos for you. Great question. I think we have a couple more questions coming in.
Are docking signs available with retroreflective?
Next question was, are docking signs available with retroreflective? Yes, they are. We use the retroreflective a lot for the interior dock signs, where those are locations that might need to be scanned. And on the exterior dock signs, I do like to use a reflective material so that they're more easily identified at night. Good question.
Do you sell blank labels that customers can print on site?
Next question we had was, do we sell blank labels that customers can print on site? Absolutely. We do have a number of stock label sizes available, listed in our catalog you can get on our website, and we can produce custom sizes as well for you in different materials. Great question.
Any plans for dissolvable tote labels?
Any plans for dissolvable tote labels? That is a good question. I don't really have an answer to that. I will have to get back to you on that one. We'll reach back out once we have an answer for that.
Okay. And is label armor available in custom sizes?
The next question we had is label armor available in custom sizes? Yes, it is. I would say that it's not very common that a customer has a need for a custom size. Between the half letter label size option and the full letter, that really covers most of the applications that we've used in the past. But custom colors and sizes are available if needed. Great question.
I think that's it for this time.
All right, I think that's all of the questions we have at the moment, so we'll continue. Again, if you do have any other questions, please drop in the chat and we'll address them as we go on. So next I'd like to talk about our warehouse labeling installation service. This is a great add-on to selling labels that you provide to your customers and lets you provide a complete end-to-end solution. Similar to the labeling survey, we also provide an installation survey to use when discussing the project with your customers. With this survey, you will collect details on the scope of the project, specifications about the facility, and information on the work environment. This survey helps collect a lot of the details that we are going to need when preparing an installation quote for you. Certain information like the facility access hours, how many days a week and what hours can we be on site installing the labels and signs. On-site training requirements. Does your customer require us to attend a safety briefing, or do they have certain certifications that we must provide to them before we can get on site and commence work? Another very common one that we have to consider is just the heights of the racks and heights of the ceilings. When we're installing labels, we want to make sure that we bring in a scissor lift or a boom lift tall enough that we can get to the tops of those racks. And with the ceiling height, we need to know how high we're going to be installing the signs, how far those are going to be hanging down. So these are all very important pieces of information. When filling out these surveys, please provide as much information as possible. The more information you provide, the more accurately and efficiently we can quote this project for you. Along with the installation survey, we're also going to require from you a map or CAD drawing of the facility, something that'll outline, similar to the picture shown on the computer screen there, something that'll show the aisles, bays, and the layout of the facility so that we can help orient ourselves once we're on the ground there. We're also going to want an example of their rack profiles that you see there on the screen. Something that'll show you us how their levels are spaced out, how their racks are structured, so that we know where labels should be placed on these racks. You can send the installation survey to your customer to complete out, but in my experience, it's best to go over the survey with them either on the phone or in person while walking the site. Again, the more information that you can provide to us, the better prepared we will be when we're quoting this project and also when it comes time to execute on site. So let's talk about some of the process of working through a warehouse proposal and installation. When you begin a warehouse installation project, we will work with you to discuss all the known essentials of the project. Basics of scope, what your customer is trying to accomplish, and any other pertinent information that you had. Again, you're going to want to complete that label and installation survey so that we can collect all their information and help design the solution for us, for them, and make sure that we get those planograms, rack elevations, and drawings so that we can accurately orient ourselves in the facility. Once we have all of the details collected, we'll review those with you and, if needed, your customer to make sure that we're all on the same page with quoting. and to offer any other options or solutions that we think they might be missing. If appropriate for larger projects, we can schedule an on-site visit to come out and walk the facility with you and your customer, which is a great way to meet face-to-face and help build that relationship for these large projects. It's also a great time if you're working with a customer that is going through a multi-site refresh. It's also a great time then when we're on site to meet maybe a lead engineer for that project that might be working in multiple facilities that you'd want to install labels in. Once we have all the information collected from the surveys, calls with your customer and you, and on-site visits, we'll provide a comprehensive quote for you that details all aspects of the projects. The quote will include labor, travel, equipment rentals for the scissor and boom lifts that may be needed. And like I said, we'll take care of renting that equipment and making sure it's on site at your customer's facility, so that's not something they will have to worry about. We do run, a lot of times we get questions from customers that say, hey, we have boom lifts. Can you just use ours while you're out there? I tend to shy away from borrowing your customer's boom lift. One reason is that that takes away from their ability to complete their work if we're using their equipment for a full day. Another reason is that we will need access to those lifts for the entire time we are on site. So for that reason, we like to bring in all of our own equipment so that we're not interrupting your customer's workflow. Once the customer awards you a project, we will again review all of the information from the beginning of the quoting process to the end once the PO has been issued to you, so make sure that nothing has changed in the scope and there are no curveballs we need to address. We'll go through all of the rules and regulations that your customer has identified. Again, things like training, safety certifications, anything that we need to get done ahead of time before your customer allows us on site to complete that work. We'll work out a timeline outlining all the different aspects of the project, including proofing, production, and the timeline for the installation. And once we've done all that, we'll start going into the actual proofing and design process of the labels. We will review the data that your customer has provided for us for all of their rack location, and again, we'll reference that across their maps to make sure that there is no incorrect data or that something might be out of sequence. Our team will produce all of the labels and sign proofs for you, including custom artwork. If your customer has a design proposal that they would like us to replicate, please send that over and we'll reproduce their designs. But if they don't have a design in mind, we have hundreds of different label designs that we have created, and we can create something custom for them to meet their needs. Once we have all of the labels and signs and all of the products proofed and approved, we'll begin production on that and make sure that all of the material and supplies are on order. After production, we will make sure that the labels are all shipped to the customer's site and staged for us, waiting for our install team to arrive, and make sure that all the equipment is on site ready for them. During the implementation process and the actual installation, one of the first things we're going to do when we get on site is we're going to meet with your site's contact. We will walk the facility with them as a last-minute inspection and make sure that nothing has changed during the process of this project. We will go through and label certain small sections of the rack and have your site contact spot check our work to make sure that everything is being done to their satisfactions and their needs before completing the remainder of the project. Throughout the entire process, we're going to make sure that we are checking in with both you and your customer's site contact and make sure we are signing off on work as progress continues to make sure that we have that level of satisfaction throughout the whole process. At this point, we're going to see another quick video just outlining some of our installation steps and reviewing that process.
Whether you are implementing a new distribution center or resetting a current one, you will want to partner with a team of experts who understand all aspects of rack label production and installation. Working with us, you receive experienced, single-source management of the entire process, from start to finish. Since no two warehouses are alike, we begin with an analysis of your facility's needs and requirements, developing a customized solution to maximize productivity without disrupting your existing workflow. Our experienced staff and cost-effective production process ensures your warehouse labels, signs, and placards are designed, produced, and installed accurately, efficiently, and on schedule. Our team will meet with your staff, exploring your unique needs, and works closely with you to develop a custom solution. From small centers to mammoth distribution facilities, we understand warehouse complexities and what is required to keep operations running smoothly. Every label and sign are designed just for you. By considering your inventory system, automation, scanning needs, rack angles, and mounting methods, we ensure you receive a superior labeling solution. Signs often play a key role in distribution operations. We produce a wide variety of custom signs for every application. Whether you need hanging signs or ones for marking aisles or dock doors, our solutions are custom designed to your specifications, both indoors and outside. Your warehouse storage location data is the lifeline of your center and can be very complex. For this reason, we work closely with you to ensure you approve all data file layouts before we begin production. Once the data is formatted, you receive scannable proofs of all labels and signs for you to test in your distribution environment. Our goal is to provide perfect label and sign sequencing. Once final designs are approved and the data is finalized, we produce your custom labels, signs, and placards. Whether there is a need for auto-reflective stock for long-distance scanning, color-coded labels, large numbering, or unique barcodes, you receive a personalized solution. During all phases of the project, our on-site engineers work closely as a team to install the labels and signs with a high level of quality and minimal impact on your operations. Our lead manager stays in constant communication with your team to keep the project on time and within budget. For your next warehouse project, let us show you how our team will make the process go smoothly in a cost-effective manner. Allow us to be your guide through every part of the process, no matter what the size or complexity. You can count on us to deliver superior results, guaranteed. Contact us today and let's get started.
All right, now we're going to take a look at some of the questions we received regarding the installation. Let's see what the first question is.
How long does a proposal take to prepare?
All right, the first question is, how long does a proposal take to prepare? That's a great question. Typically, we can turn an installation proposal around in about 48 hours, depending on the complexity of the project. For projects that are a little bit more involved, we may have to have a few more meetings or discussions with your customer and you before we're able to accurately quote the project. And again, the more information you provide to us up front, the easier it is to complete that quote in a timely and efficient manner. Great question. Let's see what the next one is.
We have several questions about location. Do you have teams in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, West Tennessee, North Mississippi?
Next question we have is, we have a lot of questions about locations and where our install teams are based. Our install teams will actually work all over the country. We'll travel to any location. We've even done jobs in Canada before. So feel free to reach out to us, and we'll make sure we'll service the areas where your customers are located. Great question.
Okay. Can I have my team or my customer's team install the labels?
Next question is, can I have my team or my customer's team install the labels? Absolutely. We can provide just the labels and signs for you if your customer or yourself would like to handle the installation. One of the big benefits of having our team do it is that we are very experienced in labeling warehouse racks, and putting up signs, and our team is incredibly efficient at doing this. So really, in terms of a time and a accuracy of completion, I recommend having our team do it, but absolutely, your team and your customers are able to tackle the installation yourself should you choose. Great question.
Okay. Is it possible to get today's presentation private label?
Next question we had was, is it possible to get today's presentation private labeled? Yes, we can provide you with this PowerPoint and brand it with your company's logo and information, absolutely. Again, please reach out to our marketing team if you would like to have custom marketing material produced for you. Let's check the next question.
How long does it usually take to prepare the labels and be ready for installation?
All right, next question is about lead times. How long does it usually take to prepare the labels and be ready for installation? That's a great question, especially with everything that's been going on with the supply chain recently. Typically for labels, for rack labels, we're usually around 20 to 25 working days lead time. And signs, we can be around 40 days lead time. For the label, or for magnets and clean beam, those will take a little bit longer than our standard labels. But with how quickly things are changing with material availability for PVC, labels, magnets, I would make sure to reach out to your DLS representative, and we'll let you know ahead of time what our lead times are for these materials. And we'll make sure we're in constant communication with you and your customer to really set that expectation around turn time for the products. Great question.
Do you add travel costs to proposals?
Next question was, do we add travel costs to proposals? Yes, we do add travel costs to our installation proposals. So when you get an installation quote from us, there will be 3 lines, one for the labor and materials, one for travel costs, and one for equipment rentals. The travel costs and the equipment rentals will actually bill to you at cost, so you will actually pay exactly what we pay. We do not mark up the travel or the equipment rentals at all. Great question. All right, and I think that's all we have for questions now about installation. Let's continue and take a look at how to sell warehouse labels, who to target, and some market considerations. So as we've discussed before, smaller warehouse centers may lack the manpower to handle the jobs themselves, and this is where being able to offer a complete turnkey solution with labels and installation can really benefit your customers. On the opposite of these smaller centers, large distribution centers and warehouse may want that work performed quickly and efficiently and will opt to contract that work out to a 3PL. New distribution centers or existing ones that are going through resets of their racking are also great customers to target for warehouse labeling and installation. And one of my favorite projects to pursue are with large companies that are doing multiple locations, that are going through a company-wide reset, or implementing barcode systems for the first time. I really love repeat projects because as we continue through the project, we become more and more familiar with it, and our efficiencies increase, and there's less curveballs. We build great relationships with you and your customer as we're going through these multiple projects, and it's another nice way to add value. As we discussed earlier, even if a company decides to handle the installation themselves, the label and signed product portion is still a very worthwhile and profitable sale for you, and it again adds great value. Again, I would also say that targeting companies that are not currently using barcodes to manage their inventory is a great opportunity. And with DLS, working with us, we can make sure that your customers are offered a turnkey solution. We'll work with you through the entire process, consultation, production, and installation, and we'll be there every step of the way. Speaking of turnkey solutions, for those that do not know, we were acquired by TSC Printronix Auto ID. TSC manufactures a full line of thermal printers for industrial, desktop, mobile, and RFID applications. And DLS is the OEM supplier for labels, ribbons, and print heads for these printers. Another great feature of these TSC printers is they are plug and play. So if a customer already has another brand of printer existing, TSC is compatible with multiple printer languages and integrates seamlessly with their existing fleet of printers. If you do have questions about the TSC printers or like more information, please reach out to your DLS project associate, and we can get you in contact with the local TSC printer account manager. Let's talk about a few more of our selling targets. With these warehouse label and installation projects, early participation is very important. A lot of times when we see these big distribution centers being built, engineers are focusing on the racks, the infrastructure, and a lot of the big pieces that go into it, and oftentimes labeling can be overlooked. When you're talking with your customers about their plans for new distribution centers they're looking to build, make sure you drop in hints about the labeling and signage early so that we can get the ball rolling on their needs for that. Anytime you hear of new distribution centers being built or going through a reset, it's a great time to bring up DLSwarehouse, and that we can help your customers relabel their racks and refresh their facilities. And contacts with DC managers are a great way to get in and get an idea of upcoming projects that your customers might have. A lot of time, DC managers or engineers are in charge of multiple projects. There's a lot of times a main point of contact that is overseeing a project across the multiple facilities. And getting contact and FaceTime with them is a great way to get involved in that labeling and installation for these different facilities. If your customers are using a 3PL to manage their distribution centers, it's a great way to get in is to have your customer recommend you for the labeling and installation part of that project to your 3PL. A couple other selling points that I would like to bring up is our expertise. With DLS as your partner, you are a specialist in warehouse label and sign production and installation. We work with you to make sure that everybody understands the complexity of labeling and signing of facilities, and we will work with you and offer consultation and guidance through the duration of the project. Again, because of our expertise, we're able to ensure speed, accuracy, and efficiency in all these projects. Again, with working with DLS, we bring a number of unique capabilities to you. With our full digital label and sign production, we can produce a number of different sizes, styles, colors, and really produce a lot of custom products for your customers' need. We offer full color printing with enhanced visual appearance, and because of our size and scope of our production, we're able to offer low-cost labels and signs to your customers. Along with our experience and our unique capabilities, we can provide a number of unique materials for specialized applications, such as those freezer environments that we talked about earlier. Another important part is our safety. Our install teams are fully insured and trained, and because we've been doing this for so long, they're really good at reducing risk inside those facilities. By having our install team complete the project rather than your customer's team, you're mitigating the risk of injuries to your customer's employees while they're trying to perform uncommon jobs. If they're used to picking orders and filling warehouse racks, labeling racks and hanging signs might not be in their wheelhouse and might be unfamiliar to them. Because we're familiar with all the complexities of installing labels and signs, we've seen really about everything that can be thrown at us. We know how to handle a lot of the different curveballs that can pop up doing projects of this scope. And again, we've talked about our efficiency. Because we have been doing this for so long, we have a lot of built-in efficiencies that allow us to label these racks faster than your average warehouse worker. When producing the labels and signs for your racks, we like to make sure that they are sequenced and produced in the most efficient way to be put on the racks. Again, we provide all of the equipment and tools that might be needed specifically for the projects, and installations are scheduled around your customers' everyday activities to mitigate any disruptions that they might have while working in their facility. DLS guides you the entire way and works side by side with you to ensure your customers' needs are completely met. We are here to help and support you, and we cannot succeed unless you do. As we talked about earlier, we have a fantastic marketing team, and this is another one of the ways that we help support you. We have a number of different options for samples, including our warehouse sample kit. This kit can be custom branded with your company's logo, information, and color scheme. And in this kit, we provide a number of samples for labels and magnets, clean beam, totems, really all the different types of styles of labels that you would need. We also provide a few of placard samples. We have a lot of miniature sign samples that we put in there. And also included are a number of our sell sheets and flyers and copies of those surveys that we looked at earlier. I like to use these warehouse sample kits and bring them around with you as you're doing your sales. And they're great for larger projects, big DC projects, where your customers may need a wide variety of projects, from labels, magnets, signs, clean beam, label armor. This is a great way to be able to show off all of those products and get them in your customers' hands so they can touch and feel. For some smaller projects or in instances where the scope and the types of products we might need is going to be a little bit more limited, we can absolutely provide you label packs, examples of signs, magnets, and clean beam and label armor samples as well. I would recommend that we keep these label kits for specific large projects. Reason is they do take a lot of time for us to produce, so I would just ask that we use these sparingly, but we can provide a number of different sample options for you as well. And again, we've talked about the custom marketing materials. All of the flyers and surveys and even the presentation, the PowerPoint presentation that we're seeing here today, these can all be rebranded with your company's information. And again, for any marketing material, if there's anything you would like to see us produce, even if it's something new, something that we haven't produced, if you have new ideas, please reach out to our marketing team and we will gladly work with you to produce something that will work for you. I'd like to introduce some of the support team that we have. Again, my name is Nick Fassel. I'm the director of DLSwarehouse. Working with me is Mike Craig, who is one of our DLSwarehouse sales support members, and James Sirigliano, who is our VP of marketing. His team has done a great job producing all of the presentation you're seeing today, and as well as all of that great marketing material. If you do want to inquire about custom marketing material, please reach out to the marketing team at marketing@teamdls.com. At this point, I'd like to stop for any further questions that we have.
Okay, do you have any suggestions on how to find the companies that are building a new warehouse?
One of the questions that we have is, do we have any suggestions on how to find the companies that are building new warehouses? There's a number of different ways to do that. Contacting different 3PLs. Even in my area, I see a lot of these warehouses just being put up on my way to work. They're popping up all over the place. But I like to leverage some of your existing connections that you have, especially for companies that might be expanding or refreshing. So there's a number of different ways to tackle that and go about finding new opportunities.
Okay.
Great question.
Please repeat who the contact people typically are.
Please repeat who the contact people typically are. Let me back up for a second so you can see. Again,
I think he meant the contact people at a warehouse project. He was asking for that.
Oh, the contact people at a warehouse project. I'm sorry. Might need to, if you could clarify the question. I'm not quite understanding. If you could clarify the question in the chat, we'll get right back to that one.
Okay, are Tesla materials available for rack labeling, and what kind of freezer temp ranges do you have for retroreflective?
Our Teslin materials are available for racking, and what type of temperature ranges do we have for retroreflective? We have the Tesla materials are available to use. We typically don't use them. I would say most of our non-retroreflective materials are going to be on a white polyolefin material. We found that material provides the best mix of durability and cost efficiency. So that's what we're going to use for most of the projects, unless otherwise required by you or your customer. For Friso retroreflective material, we have a couple of different options on how to tackle that, and it's really going to depend on the type of product that your customer is looking for, whether it's a sign or a rack label, and the actual temperature. We have a couple of different temperature ranges and different ways to go about adhering those to those racks. So I would say if you have questions about the retroreflective, Collect as much information as you can, and we'll work with you and your customer to identify the right solution for those freezer environments. Freezer environments can be tricky, and they really need to be handled on a case-by-case basis. There isn't usually a one-size-fits-all approach to those, but great question.
The clarification on the people, who typically are the decision makers for these warehouse projects?
All right, going back to that question we had previously, who typically are decision makers for these warehouse projects? That's a great question. It's going to depend on how your customer's company is really structured. Sometimes it'll be a plant general manager who's managing a specific site, or a engineer. Sometimes your customers may have a team of people that are in charge of the distribution centers nationwide. It really depends on how your customer structures their company for who you're going to want to approach to talk about these projects. But great question.
Okay, who do we contact for quotes on other types of labels?
Who do we contact for quotes on other types of labels? For non-warehouse quotes, best way to reach out is through our estimating team, and that email is quotes@teamdls.com. You can send all your requests for non-warehouse related quotes to them, and they'll be able to get you taken care of. Great question.
Or customers?
Next question was, can we also get samples of label armor to send your customers? Yes, absolutely. We can send out samples of the label armor covers. Unfortunately, I don't have any samples of the chemicals that we use to install. But for the testing purposes and to give your customer an idea of how the label armor works, we can send out the label armor covers themselves along with a couple of sample labels so they can throw them down on their floors and get a feel of how they will work into their warehouse environment. Great question.
All right. I think that's what we had.
All right, and I think that is all the questions that we have from right now. And again, if there are any questions about anything we've discussed here or even things we haven't discussed, please feel free to reach out to me and the marketing team, and we'll be able to help you out. And with that, I would like to thank you all again for joining, and have a great day.